Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Uncle Grumpy. Welcome to Grumpy's Corner. This is my new corner. Midday show here. I've got Lawrence Pasternack with me. Let me get up the right screen here where I can see. All right, Lawrence and I are going to kill a little time talking to you guys today. There we go. That should do it. All right. Well, Lawrence, hello. How are you doing today?
As I was saying, I'm really tired. I
Yeah, well,
uh,
they didn't hear it, so now you got to tell them.
I am by no means whatsoever a morning person, and I had a 8 a.m. meeting today, and staying at a hotel, and didn't get to sleep until something like 3:30. So I got up
Well,
maybe around
now,
7, 3.5
Now
hours of sleep.
you are, let me ask, you are a pain management patient yourself, correct? I know you're not a heavy user of THC. I know you're not, it doesn't really work for you, but
I have no
um,
tolerance.
right, right.
Yeah.
But you are still a pain patient, pain
Mhm.
management patient. Has that got something to do with why you're not sleeping?
Well, it certainly sometimes is. In this case, it's just sort of I normally don't sleep well in hotels, and I
Oh,
normally
okay.
do not get up as early as I had to get up today. So those two things
Okay.
combined left me with only a limited amount of sleep.
Well, that would do it. All right, I'm trying to figure out where we're at here so I can share this in the right place. All right.
Yeah, I don't have
Hmm.
the same my normal devices. Here we go. I found us.
Find us. There I am talking.
All right.
Shocker, huh?
All right, now I see people saying hi. Hello, everyone.
All right, there you go. You're seeing people. That's good. I got to put this on the OCNN first before we
Seven,
get too far.
7 people currently, so we're middle of the day.
This is the middle of the day crowd. We have some wonderful people that watch during the middle of the day, and here they are. Catch a lot more at lunchtime, though. They usually check it out. A lot of people that go to work during the day
Yep.
check it out during their lunch period. All right, so well, first we have a big announcement, folks. Something that we've been working towards. Everybody knows we've been working on this CLA, the Cannabis Liberty Alliance, for a while now. And as of what, yesterday or day before, we now officially have all of our IRS 501c3 paperwork.
That's right.
So we are now officially, or at least this entity of it is a nonprofit.
Yep.
So that's going to be very useful. Lawrence, I know one of the things that when this initially started, this idea started, it was a year ago when you were watching me struggle to get to the Capitol
Mhm.
financially.
Mhm.
And you said we need to come up with some way of helping people afford to be able to do this, some sort of nonprofit that can help people speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
And so here we go.
Yeah, just as 788 was rolling out, I went to a number of people who were putting some big money into the business side, and I proposed to them, well, how about helping to finance all the advocates that are making this possible for you? So many of them are on Social Security, have very limited incomes, need money for just gasoline to get to the Capitol. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get people, individually they might have contributed, but I was not able to get a real kind of structure set up at that time. And it was on the back burner for a while. And then, with a whole array of other issues that we have, we decided to create the OCLA.
Yeah, it's taken a while. It certainly has. The paperwork's been slow. Of course, anything with government is, as we hear so frequently. I'm sharing this in a few places.
Mhm.
All right, we have a few
Yeah,
things
so we
to
got
talk
our
about
official
today.
IRS number.
What's that?
We got our official IRS number for the 501c3, and we can open up a bank account and maybe generate some money for advocacy work.
Yeah, now that we can do that, now we can have a fundraiser. We can have some sort of a dinner or a party or something to help raise some money to do what it was we just talked about, about helping people get speak up for themselves. Almost done here.
Ideas are, if we want to have a rally at the Capitol and people are coming from a distance, then we might be able to get them a gas card. We might be able to subsidize the cost of them getting to the Capitol.
Yeah, and yeah, because then it's not just the people in the city that show up. I mean, we know dozens and dozens of people we speak to regularly that live in small town Oklahoma that want to come and do this, that want to help, but it's always financial. As it was for me last year, it's always financial. And you're right, it's the individuals that stepped up last year. It was the fundraisers that you did. You did one that bought my car I'm currently driving, where there was a couple businesses that helped out some, but it was mostly individuals. I know Billy Sanders out in Muskogee did a couple fundraisers for me last year, just out of the blue, and it just happened to be on days when I had spent my mortgage money to put gas in the car and lunch and everything else for going to the Capitol that week, and then going to whatever other side of the state that's within a day or two of that, because I was on the road 7 days a week then.
And during the campaign itself, during the 788 campaign, I and many other people were just giving you and giving Norma and other just a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, just to help subsidize all the gas. You guys were traveling back and forth across the state on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of miles. It's a little less now. So this is great now that we get to focus some of that energy on making it easier for the next people that try and do this. I really see that as a really good way of helping the state out, giving the people the opportunity to, regardless of their financial situation, the opportunity to really speak up for themselves with their representatives.
Yeah, and part of the whole vision behind the OCLA is the Oklahoma Cannabis Liberty Alliance. The idea here is that we're an alliance, right? That we're inclusive. We want to bring everybody who's interested in helping out, bring them together to work together. Not one organization against another, not divvying things up. Whoever has the energy and the drive and the vision, we do what we can to build the network, and now that we have the 501c3, hopefully offer some resources.
Yeah, it's only going to work if we all pull together. I mean, I think the situation we're in right now is a prime example of that. And what I mean is the overregulation with both some of the laws that came out of the House and the Senate, the legislators this year, as well as the regulation that has gone along with it. We can't seem to overcome that because we don't have the unity. If we had the unity of 190,000 card holders, oh wait, we have 190,000 card holders.
I think we're at 200,000 now.
Okay, 200,000 card holders. Why is it we would ever be short people to stand and hold signs and protest? And we should never be short. We should run out of parking at every one of these events. And again, I know that at like the one that was at the health department recently, I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen since last summer. Most of these people I don't see on a regular basis because they live all over the state. A lot of them drove in. It was there was a bigger percentage that were from out of town than were from in town. So people gather for these, but even that was 100 people, maybe 120. Mm-hmm. Where was the other 100 or 200,000 people? I mean, what? We should overrun that building with people at just the whiff of calling for a protest because of this stuff.
To some extent, it's that people aren't aware and they don't know the extremes of it. That more or less the Department of Health, some of the rules, such as the compliance rule, in theory could undermine the entirety of the program. And really what it does is it gives a backdoor mechanism for every jurisdiction, every county, every city. It gives a backdoor mechanism for them all to cancel the program in their locale. They could simply say, no, we are not going to provide you with a certificate of compliance. And so the Adas and the Altuses, and the Weatherfords and all those towns that are more anti-cannabis, if they wanted to, they could prevent dispensaries, grows, every sort of business from being in their region. And the Department of Health, my suspicion is, knew this. And this was a backdoor agreement to provide a means to allow local regions to crush the program.
You think?
That's my view. That's my hypothesis.
So who would who?
Either that or it's just serious incompetence. It's
Well,
either
look. Who would have made that deal though? Because here's the thing. I mean, uh, I don't believe that our House members would have knowingly been involved in that kind of a deal. So
well,
who
remember
would have?
this. When Mary Fallon was the governor, there was a cabal of government employees who wanted to undo the will of the people, right? There was that interagency memo that reflected 20 or so different agencies in the state. They're not wanting marijuana here. And so what they've been able to do is, this is my hypothesis, leverage that influence within the Department of Health and find ways to get the OMMA to diminish the program in all ways possible. And one of the key things now is, with that certificate of compliance, any county, any city that does not want to issue a certificate of compliance, effectively that means that there could be no cannabis businesses in that region. And that's what the Department of Health has done.
Well,
Is that
now
a
we do.
coincidence?
Yeah, we do
Just a
have to
big coincidence?
acknowledge. We do have to acknowledge that while some of the players have changed, this is the same health department that put out that interagency memo Lawrence is talking about. And they're the same health department that tried to eliminate flour, tried to put, well, they wanted, according to their memo, they wanted a 1 year hold on the program, but I think they were willing to settle for 120 days, and they weren't getting that. They wanted the pharmacists in every dispensary and all those other rules that we all flipped out about. And
And they wanted to limit the total number of dispensaries to the state to something like five.
was it 5 dispensaries
Something like that,
or
yeah.
was it 5 grows?
No, it was
There
dispensaries.
was
This is
there
where the
was a
tricky
limit.
is.
I remember that I remember that council member of the health department board. I remember him talking about how he only wanted 1 or 2 grow or 1 grow per 4 or 5 counties or something like that. I mean,
And, right. And they also wanted to try to limit dispensaries. But
yeah.
when it went to the vote at the Board of Health, then the only two items that the Board of Health approved were, um, do I recall correctly, the ban on flour and the pharmacists.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the third one was turned down.
Okay. Yeah, and even though they were told right then, even on those two things, by their own council, no, I'm sorry, by the,
By the
see,
general counsel of the Department of Health.
Ju,
Yeah,
Julia Zell was the general counsel for the Department of Health. This was the
that's right.
tricky thing, but she wasn't the attorney for the board. The
Right.
board's attorney was actually the attorney general, and his second in charge, I don't remember his name, but he was in the room
Yeah.
and said he was only there for legal reasons and wasn't going to interject really in any way. He was just there to observe, basically not not completing any of his duties. He should have been the one advising them that what you're doing is overreaching and you're going to get slapped down, as they were by the Attorney General, his boss, by the
Right.
Attorney General's letter when that came back, and they had to back up on that. Now, I see where we're at now is the same thing has happened. They've just tried to be a little more sly about it, and they've used a little bit of 1030 and 2612 to help them accomplish some of this.
Hmm.
So we can't exactly get an attorney general's opinion to stop it now because again they've seemed to have maneuvered the legal part of it enough to where it might be somewhat difficult to get it stopped.
Yeah, I've not looked at the legislative basis for their being able to require a certificate of compliance. But let's assume there is. If there isn't a legislative basis, then the Attorney General could overrule them. But I've not looked at that.
Well, we definitely need to look at that then.
Ron probably has.
Yeah, I bet he knows. Maybe I'll call him later on today. Let's see. Sharing this a couple more places. If I share it in all of them at once, then Facebook thinks I'm spamming everybody, so I don't want to spam everybody. All right, so what else do you want to talk about?
Well, at some point, there's going to have to be a meeting about all the things that are needed legislatively, and
Okay,
that
well,
could be in the next 6 weeks, I think.
yeah, Ron and I were talking about that the other day. We need to do that in the next couple of weeks so we can get back to them with our answers.
Yeah.
The
Now, could I
problem
harp on
is,
something? Go
go
on.
ahead. No, go
Could I
ahead.
harp on something that I just keep on bringing up because it's so important? The
Of
issue that
course.
has to do with THC and hemp.
Sure, go ahead. Let's hear it.
All right, I have written an op-ed to the Daily Oklahoman, and I've written an op-ed to the Tulsa World about this issue, so people can look these things up in either of those newspapers. But the reason why this is so important is because there's a huge protection that everybody now has. The federal government in the 2018 Farm Bill removed THC when derived from hemp from the Controlled Substances Act. So Section 12619 of the 2018 Farm Bill amends Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act so that it now says tetrahydrocannabinols except when derived from hemp. So THC derived from hemp is no longer federally illegal. Therefore, anybody who is using it for medical purposes, if they're terminated, they have an ADA, American Disabilities Act, complaint. They could go to their employer, they'd say, "You're unlawfully terminating me." Before any of that happens, they can go to their employer and they could say, "I want an accommodation." If the employer does urine tests for THC, you can tell them that you use federally legal hemp and you want a ADA accommodation and
But,
ask for
but
all.
you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you can't just tell them that. You need to be purchasing that. There needs to be some truth behind what you're saying, or you're just going to get yourself caught up in
Well,
legality.
you would have to have a receipt for the
There you
purchase
go.
of a 2018 Farm Bill compliant hemp product, and ideally a note from your doctor recommending that you use hemp or CBD. So ideally, the situation would be have a doctor's note recommending that you use CBD, that you have a receipt from a Farm Bill compliant hemp product. And then, if you're going to be urine tested, you ask for an ADA accommodation and you ask them to provide a different sort of test for you to assess your impairment other than a urine test, because the urine test doesn't establish active impairment, just establishes a metabolite in your system that could be there for 90 days and that no longer reflects that you're using anything federally illegal. So you can ask them to use, for instance, Alert Meter, which is a software from a company called Predictive Safety, and there are quite a few other options to assess impairment. But people technically have a legal way to protect themselves. Even people in safety sensitive jobs have a legal way to protect themselves because the federal government has removed THC when derived from hemp from Schedule 1. That therefore means that there's an ADA protection for its use.
Well, that's that gives everybody something to talk to their employer about, but that then also means coming out of the closet THC wise if you're a closet user and your employer doesn't know and you're just avoiding
But if
or
you're
you're
standing there with a urine cup and you think you're going to test positive, this is something to consider. Or if there's a mechanism for you to, in a non-threatening way, speak to your human resources about it. Or, if you're on good terms with your employer, right? If you, almost nobody knows this. Almost nobody knows that federal law has changed on this. When I sent my last op-ed to the Tulsa World, they didn't even believe it until they looked it up themselves, right? And it amazes me. I've only found one national newspaper, a business magazine, only one national newspaper that's even mentioned this fact. It just slipped in under the radar. And for some reason, maybe, it's like 28,000 sections in this bill. Nobody's read through it except, a couple people out there. Section 12619. Read it.
I'm shocked to hear that nobody read it. No.
Yeah, including your congressman.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, back to the CLA for a minute. Now that we have that our 501c3 status, I want to tell everybody we need you guys to sign up now. We need to build that army we've been talking about. We need at least 2 people from every district to be ready to make phone calls when we send out an alert, and to all send out a similar message and to help push whatever issue that is of the day. And then we need some of those to be able to do what we've been talking about, to be able to travel to the Capitol when we need to fill the Capitol with people. And part of what the CLA has been formed for is to help provide some financial relief to people that do that, so we can help, like Lawrence has said, with possibly with a gas card or something like that, where you're not out anything except for your time. And I think if we're not out anything except for our time, nobody has an excuse not to go and represent themselves.
And let me add, among the things that we're hoping was just trying to get people involved. It would be great if we had somebody who would like to be a membership coordinator, somebody who just has basic familiarity with Excel and can maintain a spreadsheet of contact information and names and so on. So go to the okcla.org, okcla.org, go to contact us, and if you want to join, if you want to contribute, let us know. If you're interested in being the membership coordinator, that would be great. Let us know.
Yeah, it would be ideal if you were in the Oklahoma City area. That's kind of why I moved here now, so that this is all a little easier to do with this a little more centrally located. But something like this could be done possibly via these meeting apps that we use, as well as some other technical ways or digital ways we can keep up and work with some people out of town as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comment threads. I'm just going to go back to 2 things. Somebody's asking what the section of the Farm Bill was. So it's section 12619 that amends the Controlled Substances Act, 12619. Somebody is also asking again for that website. So it's okcla.org is the website.
Yeah, that'd be Tracy. I'm sure she'll be first on the list. She's always ready to step up and help. She's got something on here, something else she wants to talk about. I'll have to call her later. Tracy, you've got my number. Why don't you call me in a couple hours? Hey, I got my motorcycle here yesterday. Have I told you that yet?
Mm.
All right. Well, look out, Oklahoma City. Uncle Grumpy's on 2 wheels again, and I am much happier. I'm going to take her out and give her a bath today. In fact, if anybody in the community does detailing, let me know. It really needs to be detailed. It's been sitting outside for a long time. Now it has a garage, so I need to get it cleaned up. So, again, if anybody in the community does detailing, I've got some work for you. Oh, I also need something else and I've been using this rover.com. I just haven't found quite the right person yet. I need a dog sitter in the Oklahoma City area, preferably within a few miles of my house, which is 44th and County Line Road. So I've used that Rover. I found a super nice lady there, but she's like 20 minutes away. It takes a while, and it's not the direction I'm usually going. So, anyway, that's enough of my personal stuff there. So, sign up for the CLA. Go to okcla.org. We need help with everything. And again, we need people ready to make phone calls as well as come to the Capitol. It's time to get to work. You know, Lawrence, I can tell you that meeting that Ron and I had with Fettgetter and Eccles the other day went pretty well. They want ideas for what we think needs to be fixed right away, and as well as ideas on what could be fixed possibly next session. The thing I didn't like and what concerns me was the idea that there isn't going to be a lot of cannabis bills this year. And the reason is because I see a lot of work to do. So possibly what that means is we have to be very specific and very detail oriented in these bills to where they accomplish more than one thing. You know, a lot of what you and I talked about the other day could be simple striking of language that's already out there instead of having to add something in, and that might be the easiest sell.
Simple, right? A simple, quick little amendatory bit. You know,
What's that
there's
called? Tell everybody what that's called.
an amendment, an amendatory section.
Okay.
And so, yeah, some of the issues that we have can be resolved just in a line. And you know, I just keep on saying that there should be no reason why there isn't patient delivery too. That there's no statute against it. It's just a Department of Health rule. And I think that when you're talking about very sick people, um, getting out onto the road, getting into your car, getting into a dispensary is a hardship. And it's just unfair that people have to suffer through that.
Yeah, and look, I got to tell you, the stress and anxiety that a lot of people feel from having to go to a dispensary, it's not fun laughs and giggles for everybody. I mean, to have to go in there and try and figure out, you know, you only have a certain amount of money, trying to figure out what medicine is going to help you, hope that you get it right, hope that you're getting the right information from the dispensary, hope that they have a clue, hope that you don't run into things like I did in a dispensary out in Muskogee where I said, has this stuff been tested? Oh, yeah, it's been tested. Well, can I see the test results? Oh, well, they're not here. We didn't print them off.
Yeah.
So what good is your test? If you don't have a copy for me to take home, what good is your test? And nobody has a copy for you to take home. I still can't figure that out. Why I talk to all these people about this and say, just make a damn card with the terpenes on it and you know, find some way to link it to your strand and send it out with your batch. I mean, there's got to be a way to inform people other than, yeah, we had it tested. No, we don't have a
You
sheet for you to
upload it.
go.
You just upload it onto an image website. You know, you can maintain your own website. You can upload it onto an image website, and you have a QR code. Easy.
That would do it. They could just put the QR code on the counter or send that out in a business card with their QR
Yep.
code on the back. So
Yep.
boom, they go right to your website and they see everything they just bought is listed on your site,
Hmm.
and there's another chance for them to advertise. So there's a reason why they want to do that.
That's right. It could even just be one QR code to the website, and then on your label, say, you know, the harvest date or something like that, you know, a number or something like that, and you just scroll through all the tests until you get the one that is for what you purchased. There's ways of doing it that are not labor intensive at all.
Yeah, I know that last year I was meeting with a company that had some tested, and then this was before anybody here was testing. They actually sent it to Oregon, and Oregon sent them the test results via email in a format that was for them to be able to immediately put up on their website. So it's
Mm.
just a little IT work, very little, and you get it on your website, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yep.
They
Let me
definitely
ask,
need to work on that.
what's
Go
going on
ahead.
with the discount RSO programs for people with cancer? Are those still around?
Yeah, there is just the Penny RSO program that I'm aware of. I've heard of some others. I've also heard that if you get it from the wrong place, it's watered down nothingness, which is a very scary scenario.
Mm.
because some people are going to die if they're wasting their time with RSO in the last days of their life. That doesn't work.
Somebody out there who's watching this, can you message me or send me an email through the OKCLA? I have a family member who is recently diagnosed with cancer and is looking for RSO. So I am trying to help him find a good option.
What part of the state is he in?
Lawton.
Okay, there you go,
But
folks. Lawton.
he,
We
he
need.
could come up to Oklahoma City easy.
Okay. Well, um, there's several places that do the RSO program here in the city. I'm betting there's one in Lawton. I bet we'll have a list before the end of the day.
Yep.
All right, let's see. What else were we going to talk about? That's where you're supposed to say something.
Oh, do you want me to talk about what I've been doing outside of cannabis?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I want. I do want to talk about that because I want you to show everybody this QR code you have.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody get your phones ready, everybody. Okay. We'll give everybody 1 minute. All right. Let's hear it.
So some of you, probably most of you know that I'm a professor at OSU, philosophy department. And last year, after the religious studies program, well, it actually got closed down in the 1990s. Religious studies program department got closed down in the 1990s. Dean's office decided to finally rebuild it, and they put out a call for applications, and they ended up giving me the job. So I'm now the director of religious studies there. We're bringing in guest speakers. Um, we had one last week on Islam, Muslims in America, and we have one tonight on Hinduism. Um, and we have another five or six scheduled, basically getting individuals from different religious traditions, as well as talking about issues in Christianity, once a month, give or take. And among the other goals that we have is to establish a student organization. So the first meeting of the student organization for religious studies is next month. Now here's the problem that I was telling Chris about. That it's either a state law or it's OSU that does not allow any state dollars to be used for food and beverages. I think it's a state law. So whatever money comes in through the state, through tuition and so on, taxes, that can't be used for food and beverages. So what do? Right? You want to bring a whole bunch of students in to come for the inaugural meeting of an event. You want to give them something to eat, but you have no money for it. So what OSU has is they have a fundraising program to try to get people to donate to basically a student activity fund that would pay for any kind of consumables. And in addition to that, maybe other things like taking trips and so on. But because religious studies just came back into being, where almost every other program and department has money because they've been around for years, we got nada. We got nothing. So anybody out there who might be interested in helping donate to the OSU Religious Studies Student Fund, can I put up a QR code?
Yes, please do. All right, everybody, take a picture. I know it works. I did it on mine just a few minutes before we did this video to make sure it would work, and you can donate some money there. I'm not asking any of you individuals who are home on disability to be struggling to give money to Lawrence's student fund program. But I think there's enough businesses out there, and maybe some people that aren't doing so badly, that can afford to help out a little bit. He's not trying to raise, but what, $500 or $600 for this next thing next month? It's
Yeah,
not a lot of. It's not a
I'd
lot
like
of
to get
money.
them there. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I,
businesses could do this pretty easily, and I think with what the work that Lawrence has done for this community, and never taken a nickel from anybody. In fact, always handed money out. He's given me money when I had none on more than one occasion, as well as many others in this fight. So I think the businesses and those that might not be struggling should step up and help you out, and we should do our best to fill that fund pretty quickly.
if you're an OSU alumnus, then this is the way to give back. Now, let me just add in this qualifier because I talked to the administration. Is it okay for me to fundraise within the cannabis community? And they said yes with the following qualification. that the money can't come directly from a business account
Okay.
where the profit's coming out of Schedule One. So any business out there who's interested in donating, it would have to come from a personal account. So, here's whatever salary you get. You're welcome
Right.
to donate from that. But OSU says that you can't have, the dispensary itself or the grow itself from their assets donate. But it
Yeah.
would be
Well,
great, so appreciative. As probably a lot of I get really gung ho about stuff and I jump in deep. So, I am creating this religious studies program basically out of nothing. They gave me the job of hiring people. I hired a couple people. I'm going to be hiring some assistants now. I hired some faculty. I've spent almost every weekend putting together brochures and flyers and posters and all this kind of stuff. And I want this program to just, flourish.
and I'm sure it will with you at the helm. I have no doubt, as we all have. All right. So, what else we got? We're going to have to do a fundraiser for the CLA soon, too. I
Yeah.
suggest we do a dinner or a dinner party or with some people with a lot of money that can write some really good checks to help out people. Maybe some people
You
who started where we're at and they're now successful. I think that might be
and
some
here's
people to
another
hit up.
idea. Let me give you two more ideas. One idea is have a guest bud tender. And basically, a donation is made to the OKCLA to have Norma or you or maybe even me come into your dispensary as a guest bud tender for a day. Another option,
You
another
just
option.
gave me some work, didn't you? You're trying to find
Yeah.
work for me, aren't you? I wish you'd stop that. Now I have 3 dates booked because of that one word you just said. No, I'm kidding.
And another idea is that we could come in and I have met with a good number of businesses that just heard my name and contacted me and just wanted to sit down with me to talk about federal law, which I've been communicating with some of the federal lobbyists, and obviously I've been reading federal law. Um, and just want my input on things as just, an informal consultant, or you or Norma just come in to say, this is how your dispensary is laid out. Here are some ideas for you. This is maybe some changes you might want to make. Here are some products you might want to consider. So, any of us involved here, if you want our input on something and want to make a donation to the OCLA for that, that would be great.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of work, but I'm down. Could be fun. I love going to these places. I always meet great people. All right, let's see. Yeah, we still have to have another blood drive too. I hadn't made the phone calls on that and arranged that yet because I've been so busy moving. I know Nathan's ready to have one up in Bartlesville. I just got to call back the lady from the Red Cross and set the date. So hopefully we'll have one up in Bartlesville.
Mhm.
Let's shoot for next month. I think we can do that next month, a couple weeks away. I was hoping we could have a larger meeting like Ron and I were talking about, not this weekend because there's like 2 or 3 events going on this weekend and everybody's going to be at that. And I guess Ron's scheduled to speak at one of those. It can't be the weekend after that because that is the Harvest Fest, which I'll be up in Spavinaw for that. And so will Norma. So we're busy all that weekend. So we're going to have to figure out a time when enough people, like we did before. You remember last year we did that at, uh, what was it called? Hemp RX that one night. You remember when we all
Oh,
sat down and went over with Chip and everybody else, we went over
yeah,
what
just before the
yeah,
Department of Health meeting. That's right.
right, yeah. Now
Remember.
that didn't work very well, obviously, but it was the right idea. So we're looking again at something like that. We want to make sure that everybody's involved in this decision making and that everybody's willing to step up and help. And unfortunately, a lot in this community, if it's not their idea, they won't step up and help. So we've got to give everybody their input. because we need everybody involved. It's only going to work if we can show some unity. And like I was saying, with a limited number of bills to have next year that are cannabis related, we have to be even more precise on what we go after and how we go after it. And I do think that striking language in as many areas as they're willing would be ideal. I think our biggest hurdle right now is the Senate. And so if anybody's got a good relationship with your senator, reach out to them, start talking to them about what we need done. Because I think they're going to be the biggest sticking point again. I know they were last year. And all these ideas can be great and wonderful, and we can force them through the House. But if the Senate isn't even talking to us, then nothing's getting done. So it's going to be tough. Going to be tough. All right, what else we got, Lawrence? What time is your thing tonight, your speech?
Well, it's not my speech, but the speaker on Hinduism is at 4:30.
Okay, is this up in?
Anyone who's in Stillwater, they're welcome to come. But honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember the room. I think it's the Physical Science Building, room 110. That's where we had the one last time.
Yeah.
Physical Science, room 110, OSU campus, 4:30.
Well, you said it was a standing room only last time.
Yeah, I was really amazed. The room had maybe seating for about 200, and it was the author of a book called Muslims in the Making of America. We brought him in from California, and he's actually originally from Toronto, as I am. And he basically talked about, everything from the fact that Thomas Jefferson owned a Quran and some of the things that he said about the Quran to, contemporary Muslims and American culture. And, basically it's like, when we think about Islam, we often think about the worst. So it's like, just like with any religion, there's a whole spread of people, there's 1.5 billion Muslims out there, there's everything from, the Muslim that you never know is a Muslim that's completely westernized in appearance to, somebody who's has no exposure to the West. Everything in between. And so our speaker today is on issues in the development of Hindu rituals, and actually some basically differences, some conflicts between Hindus and Muslims, and how some of those conflicts helped shape contemporary Hinduism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deep. Sounds pretty deep.
Yeah. We have the chair of the OU Religious Studies Department coming in to give a talk in November. I have somebody from Texas working in the philosophy of religion coming in next in the spring. I spoke with the conservative and the reform rabbis in Oklahoma City, the head of the Jewish Federation, and probably two of them will be coming up this academic year to give talks. So there was another one too. Somebody also on the development of evangelical literature. We have somebody planning basically to talk about sort of the origins of American evangelicalism. So a lot of interesting stuff.
Sounds interesting. I got some people on here saying they want to take your class. Let's see. I need to message Matt here. I just saw him.
Next semester I'm teaching 17th, 18th century epistemology. That will be exciting to all of you, I'm sure. And I think it's a grad seminar on Kant's philosophy of religion.
And isn't that what your books are all on? Explain your
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, I'd say almost everything I published, like 95% is Kant's philosophy of religion. I have a book on Pascal's Wager from last year through Cambridge University Press, but almost everything is Kant.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about all we got for now, isn't it? You got anything else you want to talk about before we go?
That's enough. Can I put up the QR code again?
Put up the QR code. If you've got
show you
some
my
money
phone.
laying around, Lawrence needs some money for his student activity fund. And I think Lawrence has done enough for the cannabis community that he has earned it if you can spare it. So there you go. And I know it works because I tried it just held my phone right up to the screen, and boom, there I was, and it was asking me for money. All
We're
right.
planning lots of trips, lots of events. I'm a man that wants to create communities. And so, as I have helped to work to create the cannabis community, so I'm also helping to work to create the community of students at OSU interested in religious studies.
Great. All right. Well, don't forget, folks, we need everybody to sign up for the CLA. Go there, tell us you want to get involved. We need someone to then coordinate all those names. So,
OKCLA.org.
yes, that's it. OKCLA.org. We've got a Facebook page too, which has a link to it. So I think you can get to it from there. We will do a fundraiser soon, maybe next month. Lots of events coming up right now, shortly. I think the next one I'm at is that Harvest Fest, the 4th and 5th in Spavinaw. That's up where they usually do the Copperhead Bike Rally. Beautiful place. It's going to be a great time. It's a large area, and so there's plenty of room for everybody, and there's camping. So I know a lot of people are going to that one. It's going to be a blast, and a lot of speakers. A lot of speakers. All right, so that's it for now, I think. Is that it for now?
Yeah, I'm now
It's
more awake
midday.
than I was.
It's midday. I'm feeling kind of lost because it's just not the time when we usually do this. So looks
I
like
had to take a nap.
we
You
lost
told
about
me when
half
I
our
was late.
viewers. So we either bored them to death or they had to go back to work because we lost
Yeah.
half our viewers. So we're gonna
Yes.
wrap it up.
Yep.
All right, folks. We'll do another show in a day or two, except we'll do it in the evening. How about that?
Yep.
All right. Till then, stay grumpy. See you on the road.
Bye.